Hey everyone, good morning, evening, afternoon, night, whatever time of the day it is for you. So, I picked up several more mangas to read and I could not. I was literally reading one last night that I had to just drop down, that I just dropped immediately. Um, I Won't Accept Your Regrets is what it's called, I believe is what it was called. Let me see. Yeah, I won't accept your regrets. Um, I've made it to chapter 12, but I was crying by chapter 3. Um, it's not a story I would recommend to anyone who has, well, just about everyone actually, because I don't know anyone who's never had an unrequited love. Um, it's, it kind of took me back to when I was with my second boyfriend and just kind of brought back memories that I wish were not brought back. So, yeah, I managed to get pushed through to chapter 12, although I haven't started reading it yet. So, technically, I only made it to 11. Um, it's just really heartbreaking. There was also another one that was called How to Hide the Emperor's Child. I made it to 14 on that one and just I couldn't anymore. Um, the one I started reading that I really liked, but it only has 21 chapters so far. Excuse me. Is called The Villain's Daughter-in-Law Has a Limited Time. I really love the story of this one, but it does kind of piss me off all at the same time. Uh, the Duke in this story is kind of an asshole. Um, like most Dukes are when you first meet them, they pay absolutely no attention to their child after their beloved wife dies. Um, and of course, he doesn't even realize that his son is getting abused until his daughter in law finds out. And she's trying to bring the family together to protect her own life, basically trying to get them to like her enough to where they won't want to kill her, but at the same time she's gaining money and buying a title and land and stuff like that, so she's ready to run away if they decide that they're going to kill her because the duke has really big ambitions. And it's not a bad story, but again, if you've ever been used, um, it kind of hits you in a sore spot. I've been used before. I've been bullied. I've been beaten, um, and I can still read stories of those kinds of things. But one's about an unrequited love, um, and stories of unrequited love and a child being born out of that, those just tear me apart. Um, so I I dropped all of them and I picked up another one. Um, well, picked up one that I had stopped reading some time ago because it came out with new chapters. But I'm rereading it um, because I absolutely love the story. This time, the Duke, uh, Grand Duke, excuse me, um, is just a big old freaking sweetheart. Like, if I ever met anybody like him, I think I would die of just an overload of cuteness. It's called Another Typical Fantasy Romance. And I don't want to spoil anything, but as well, there may be a spoiler alert. As evil as everyone makes out the Grand Duke through rumors, how they make him out to be um, a cold blooded killer, someone who would rather live in the freezing north swarmed with monsters instead of with humans, and blah, blah, blah. You know, just the normal fucking rumors that have to make everyone seem extremely terrifying. Um, he's just a big old frickin' sweetheart. He's just adorable. Just, I had a friend of mine read this and asked them if they had ever met anyone as cute as the Grand Duke. And they're like, well, that reminds me of you. And I'm like, yeah, no, there's no way. Like, I could never be that nice if I tried. But I absolutely love the story so far. There are several stories that I'll probably pick up again. I am very upset that I made it past season 2 of my favorite manga, which is Death is the Only. What is it? What is it called? Where is it? Death is the Only Ending for the Villainess. Um, Chapter 85 is the end of season 2. And I'm dying. I am literally dying waiting for more of it because for 85 chapters, I have not been able to stop reading this. There there are ones here. Let's see if I can find one. Nope, not that one. I can't find it. Anyway, there's a lot of ones like um, about cultivation and stuff. Um, like the poisonous concubine or something like that. Um, why the king needs a secretary. Princess's Jewelry Box, Nautilus, the Half-Blood Royalty. What was the other one called that I really liked? I can't remember. Epic Revenge, Humor and Love Song. Most of the ones that I have problems reading all the way through are usually the cultivation ones, like Pupillary Master. Um, Ones like that have like 200 chapters or so. I can't seem to get through them because the translations are just terrible. I don't know where they're going through to translate these things. They're not consistent, and my dyslexic brain tries to pull the puzzle apart and fix it, and it gives me such a headache. As much as I love the plot line of them, there's no consistency in the story whatsoever. Um, and there was another story that I was reading, where there was this back and forth throughout the chapters of whether he knew that she was the girl that he slept with or wasn't the girl that he slept with, or and she's jumping back and forth between does he know that this is his kid and he does know that this is his kid and crap like that. It jumps back and forth between them knowing and not knowing, and it's like, who fucked up these chapters? Because this is just beyond repair at this point. Um, I have a really difficult time making it past chapter 40 or 50 at the most, because after that point, the story starts breaking down and it gets really bad. The only one that I've ever been able to read 200 something chapters of was Tales of Demons and Gods. And that's because it's just impossible to put down. It When I first started reading it, I only made it about 10, 15 chapters in, and then I went to bed and I completely forgot about it. I didn't leave it open in a tab like I normally do. And I didn't realize that I had bookmarked it. And I went to my favorites and was looking through all of my favorites and getting rid of the ones that I stopped reading or shows that I don't watch anymore. Um, so I was going through and I saw Tales of Demons and Gods, and I was like, I don't remember what that was about. So I looked through it again and started reading it. And I made it all the way to chapter 125, and then they stopped for quite a while. I would go and check on it almost every week to see if there were new chapters, and there weren't. Um, I was getting really upset not being able to read more of the story because I absolutely adored it. Um, and I was looking, I started reading Death is the Only Ending for Villainous, and If I Could Be You for Just One Day, or I Wish You Were Dead. Um, Other stories like that that I started picking up to read, and I ran across Tales of Demons and Gods again, and I realized that they had 243 chapters, I believe, at that point, and I was like, oh, cool. So I went back and started reading it again, and made it all the way to the end again. And I was like, they got to quit doing this to me, because they leave it at a really good cliffhanger and then they don't update it for a long period of time. And it drives me nuts. But the reason it takes so long is because it's consistent. Um, Whoever translates it, who's whoever is translating it, the group that's doing that and taking care of editing it and all that stuff, has done a really wonderful job of it, because every now and then there are little screw ups, but it's not horrendous. It's not beyond repair. It just takes you a little longer to get past it, and you're just like, wait, so what has happened in the story so far? What are they talking about here? And it's kind of easy to put together and kind of easy to see where they're going with the story, but at the same time, it's I'm not going to say it's a typical back in time manga, because although it has some of those qualities, it's from a male perspective. And the girl that he absolutely loves keeps denying him and stuff like that. And then sets all these freaking standards for him. Like, prove that you love me. Um, I'll marry you if you get here. I'll marry you if you get there. If you can do this, if you can do that type deal. And I'm like, she's not worth it. I don't like her at all. Um, I don't like her character. It's They make her out to be this badass. Um, the way the main male lead talks about her, the way Nali talks about her. But to me, she's just useless. Literally useless. I'm sorry if this offends people, but I found Sakura from Naruto completely useless. Again, they made her out to be a badass and being trained by Tsunade and all this stuff, but you rarely ever see her help out the boys. She was going on and on about how she didn't need to be protected and all this other crap, and yet Naruto and Sasuke are still pulling all the weight while she's just sitting there healing everybody. Like, what is the use of all that strength if you can't do anything? If you're still being protected to heal everybody? Like, I don't understand why people like her character. Just, I don't understand it at all. Um, the first time I actually thought she was worth anything was when she cut her own hair to protect Sasuke and Naruto. Um, that was the only time I thought she was worth something. And then, of course, when she was fighting Sasori. Um, Other than that, I did not like her character at all. She wasn't like Naruto. Um, but to be fair, I don't like Sasuke either. Um, I found his character was completely useless. There was no point in having his character there at all. Uh, with him there or not, Naruto's personality would have still egged him on to do better, to get stronger. to protect his village and prove to everyone that he is worth something. Sasuke was literally just there for fangirls. That's it. He's. I found him as useless as Sakura. Um, anyway, but yeah, like I was saying, the girl that Nolly likes is useless. There's no reason for her to be there at all. Um, the other character, Ning, I believe, is a much more suitable love interest for him. That doesn't, it's kind of like a harem buildup because every female wants Nali, but he's kind of oblivious to their charm, I guess is the best way to say it. He's only got eyes for her, which just makes him all the more lovable. He's a very fun, comical character and really knows how to befriend people and then also knows how to ask them for favors. I guess the best way is he really knows how to use people without having to manipulate them. I guess the best description for that would be charismatic. Um, but yeah, just anyway, this, she gives him the story I'm reading now, another typical fantasy romance. Our main character has lived 3 lives, and in this third life, she has decided she was going to meet her best friend from her second life. So she goes back in time after getting killed by the crown prince and goes to meet her friend and asks him for a marriage contract, and God kind of helps him to accept her by sending all the letters that they had swapped back and forth. Um, so he's got all of her letters, and she lost all of his. But she knows she has her memories, and he's got the letters. Well, she ends up giving him these pieces of land that he wanted in the second life that he regretted not getting. And he was like, "Is there something to be discovered there?" And she's like, "Oh no, it's nothing special." She was like, "There's a diamond mine though." And of course he flips out. He's like, "Oh, holy crap. Wait, what? And you're just giving it to me?" And it's really cute. And she's like, "It's nothing special. Don't worry about it." She was like, "I would have never known about it if you didn't tell me in the last life." So she gives it to him to help the North out because they don't really have they can't grow any crops and stuff like that because one of the monsters and two all of the cold. um, Snow is always covering the ground, so it's almost impossible to grow fertile crops, so they have to collect food. um, so she gives him this huge gift, and he keeps trying to give her a gift back, and she's like, "I don't need anything." She's like, "I have my money," and she buys everything she wants. And he's like, "I couldn't give her something small because she's always buying herself treats, so the timing never felt right." Like a raccoon that just tried washing his cotton candy, he feels like the opportunity just keeps slipping away. In the end, I just came out and said it. "Can you please just accept my gifts? I really don't need any. You already gave me so much in my last life." And then she just does this total smile, and in a big block right above the next picture, it just says "total defeat," and you see her sipping tea, and he's sulking in the corner, black and white. It's just adorable. Like if I ever met someone like this, I would probably fall head over heels with just and die of utter cuteness. I would not be able to handle it at all. So cute. The only flaw about him is that he puts himself down a lot. He's really insecure. So I'm pretty sure if I ever met someone like this, we wouldn't get along very well because then we would constantly be in a battle of tearing ourselves down and trying to build the other up. Since I'm a person that is extremely insecure, um, I I'm I have gotten a lot better. Um, that much I can admit. I've slowly been able to start accepting compliments from people, but every now and then it's still kind of along the lines of these people are making this shit up. They're just trying to use me. They think I have money. Um, just typical crap that I've been through that just kind of seeps its way out. And it's like, you're not worth shit. You don't deserve any of this. What they say about you is all a lie. They just think you have money. And it it's a vicious cycle. Every now and then I can fight back against it and I'm like, no, I'm better than this. Or one of those days I'll have a Leo mood, is what a friend used to call it. He would say my Leo was showing. Um, and when I get one of those moods, it only lasts for a short period of time. And I'll put on makeup and I'll put on my best clothes and I'll feel fantastic until someone compliments me, or it has been about 2 hours at the longest. The shortest has been about 3 minutes. And then I'll go and remove the makeup, put back on my jammies, and curl up in bed and feel completely worthless. Um, it's it's a really really vicious circle that goes on inside of my head. And on top of being dyslexic, I tend to down myself even more because when I make a mistake when I'm reading, or someone's talking to me and my brain switches words around and they're like, what is wrong with you? That is not what I said at all. And it's like you don't seem to understand how bad dyslexia can be for people. I can't even begin to try spelling it. Makes no sense to me. Um, spelling numbers and letters have just, I can't. And so anytime I make a small mistake, whether I'm by myself or with someone else, I tend to beat myself up over it. And even though I know it's not my fault, it's like you're the older sister, yet you're as dumb as a box of nails. And your younger sister, who has all these issues, is smarter than you. Like, how does this work? And I know not all of it is entirely my fault. Um, I know that. I do know that. But still, there's that part of my brain that has gone through years and years of mental abuse and manipulation and all this other crap that just keeps seeping its way into my thoughts and making me feel worse about myself instead of better. It it's a constant freaking battle. I think it's the heater that's doing it, not the cold air. Damn. Um, for those who don't know, there is a company here in Florida that is buying up all the power. So our power bills have doubled. Um, I'm guessing they got the second power bill and have realized that the power bill is not going down, regardless of what we unplug and try to conserve. Um, so now my mom and her husband are now planning on moving. They're seriously considering it now. Um, and I don't know if I mentioned it in the last video or not, but we may be going to Mexico. Um, I'm not entirely sure on the whole thing. They said it would possibly be sometime next year. Um, I don't really care where we live. My main concern is just trying to get me figured out first. What is that? Okay, it's off. Sorry. Um, they're trying to get my medical records. Hopefully, I'll be able to do that in March. Having to get a hold of a certified copy of my birth certificate because apparently North Carolina does not give certified copies unless you specifically ask for it. Um, they asked me if I wanted the actual birth certificate, and I told them no, I just needed a copy. My mom did the same thing and she got a certified copy, but mine was literally just a copy. So we have to make a trip to go up there to get it in March. Um, y'all are probably wondering why we have to go up there and do that. If you've never been to North Carolina, I understand the question. If you have, you already know. North Carolina's system for this crap is complete shit, complete and total shit. They will not do anything unless you're face to face. So, food stamps, disabilities, anything of the sort, you need to go in and talk to the people because otherwise it never gets done. You can't do it online. They won't do shit for you. They'll keep putting it off, and then you'll get a letter in the mail saying that they've discontinued whatever or that they've closed the case because you never bothered to contact them, even though you have been contacting them. Um, the last time that I actually called for a certified copy of my birth certificate was when I was in Florida and no, Washington, and I was getting ready and I was having to leave, and they asked me for a certified copy um, to get a picture ID so I could get on the train. Well, I called North Carolina and asked them if I could get a certified copy and blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay, we'll have it sent to you in the next 7 to, I believe they said 14 business days, 20 business days, something like that. Uh, so I waited and I waited and I waited and I waited and I waited. 3 months go by and I'm like, well, they're just going to have to make do with a copy. Um, so yeah. I'm going to have to go up there and get it. That felt weird. Um, so we're going to make a trip to go up there, and I'm hoping that while we're up there, I'll be able to stop by the hospital and see if I can get my medical records. Um, that way I can just make copies and be able to send it out instead of having to go through this stupid form that they want me to print out, then fill out, then mail. It makes no damn sense at all because the lady on the phone told us to just go to the site, fill out the form, and then send it. Didn't tell us that we would have to print it out. So hopefully while we're up there, I can make time to be able to go and do that. Um, there's a part of me that really doesn't want to move. Uh, it Florida doesn't feel like home, but it feels the closest to being comfortable. Um, Not because of any of the situations or anything. It's just the people, the weather. It's just it's familiar and it's comfortable and it's consistent. Um, I tend to have a consistency issue. I tend to watch the same shows over and over again because I know what's going to happen. I know how it's going to end. I know how the story plays out, and it's constant. Uh, my mom and her husband played it off as a joke when I was actually completely freaking out that my mom parked on the opposite side of her husband's car. Uh, when I saw it, I literally felt my heart just drop. And I thought I was going to puke for a minute. And I was sitting there, and my mom was turning around to look at me, and I just put on a giant smile so that she wouldn't notice. And I was like, why? Um, this is not where it's supposed to be parked. And I'm trying to play it off as if I'm being funny, but I was dying. Uh, I much prefer things to stay the way they are unless there's a reason for them not to be that way. Um, so if our neighbors had a guest over and they took her parking spot while she was gone at work, that would have been fine. Um, it, it was really hard to handle that. Uh, I have a lot of freaking issues, man. I try to work through these things with people and by myself and try to work it out as best I can. It doesn't always work out the way that I want it to, unfortunately. Um, I have two fans going at all times, one in the window here and just one over there by the TV. And I have them on 24/7 unless we are leaving the house for long periods of time. Like if we're going to stay out for a night or something like that, I turn them off. Um, when we stayed at the hotel, I turned that one off by the TV and I took the one in the window with me. And I damn near had a heart attack when I came back and I plugged it in and turned it on, and it wasn't going. It was making the sound like the motor was trying to go, but the blades themselves were just eh, eh, eh. I noticed while I was sitting there giving it a death stare, trying not to throw it through the window, that the blades were getting a little bit faster. I was like, okay, maybe the motor just needs to heat up. I don't know what's wrong with it because I just cleaned it. Um, we had come back from the hotel and I swabbed the damn thing and untangled the hairs from around the little metal thing in the back and all that. I cleaned the fucking thing to where it looked brand new and it still wouldn't start. And it just wouldn't start. And I was like, ah. But I've noticed that it's been doing that a lot. I had another fan like this when I was living in North Carolina, um, and it worked wonders. It never faltered on me. But this one, the exact same make and model, has been giving me problems. I don't know what's wrong with you. Um, and it terrifies me every time because if I think it's not going to work, I'm gonna flip out and I'm gonna end up having to ask my mom if we could go to Walmart so I can get another one. I can't do without the fans. Um, one constantly gives me like this weird. I'm not gonna say rattling because it's not. It's not. But it kind of has this type thing to it. Um, kind of has a purr to it, I guess is the best way to put it, that I'm used to now. And I always have it oscillating. This one, on the other hand, during the day I have it facing up towards the roof, and at night I have it bent down so that it blows straight in my face. All through the night while I'm trying to sleep, I concentrate on the sounds of that and while doing stories in my head, trying to make myself fall asleep. Um, for the past few nights, I've had more trouble sleeping than ever. I'm not entirely sure why, but I haven't been getting to sleep until 4 or 5 in the morning, just before my mom wakes up and starts getting ready for work. It it's usually like that for me. I only get 4 to 6 hours of sleep if I'm lucky. Um, Sometimes I won't sleep for several days straight, and then I'll conk out for an entire day, and everyone's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Like, what are you freaking out about? This is normal. Um, I have been kind of in a daze for the last couple of days. I'm surprised that my hair is still clean, although it's a mess. Um, it's been a couple days since I've washed it, but I don't have that oily feeling in my hair, which, yay. Um, Also, I did buy dry shampoo for like the first time ever because I really wanted to see what it was like and if it would work. And it does not work for my hair at all. It just leaves this powdery residue and leaves it more oily than before. So I absolutely hate it. But I didn't get one of the top brand ones because they were too expensive. This one was only like $3 and was a lot cheaper. I do not have it in here with me, otherwise I would show it to you. Um, anyway, what I was saying at the beginning of the video, if you get the opportunity to read another typical fantasy romance, um, I am reading it on kunmanga.com. It is really good. Uh, yeah, it I absolutely love it. Now, given I've only read it up to a certain point and there are more chapters out, I'm going to read as far as I can and see if I can still, and see if it's something that is consistent. Uh, so I will. I have to figure out how to do games. If I can figure out how to do an overlay thing, I would be doing games instead. Um, I have Subnautica, Raft, Don't Starve, Among Us, Sims, Human Fall Flat, Uno. I've got all these games that I can play and that I play constantly on my own, but I don't know how to do the whole overlay thing so that you guys can see me while I'm playing it, or if I have to do them separately. Because if I have to do them separately, it's going to be a whole nother freaking problem. Because my phone never has enough storage, and I'm not good with electronics anyway. Um, I may just. Not even that won't work. I go through Steam to play Subnautica, Human Fall Flat, Don't Starve, Among Us, and Raft, and Uno. I go through Steam to do that, and the others are through Origin. And although there is a feature to uh, video it, it never goes into my folders. It goes onto Steam itself. So the few videos that I do have are on Steam, and I don't know how to do all that. So it's just there. Um, I have absolutely no idea how to mm, how to manage that. Anyway, I've got to go. Uh, I'm gonna have to take a nap because I woke up at 6:30 this morning and have not been able to go back to sleep, and I'm exhausted now. So I hope you guys have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, night, whatever time of the day it is for you. And I will see you guys whenever I have the opportunity. I hope you guys have a wonderful, whatever time of the day it is for you. And I will see you as whenever I have something else to talk about.